Duel Review is brought to you by NexusDigitalComics.com. On today's Duel Review, it's The Last Exile. I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Let's get to it.
Welcome to Thursday the 5th of January. We are doing the animated series The Last Exile.
That's right. It's a Gonzo. And it's 2003. And I really enjoy it. It's one of those animes that's not terribly long. I forget how many episodes. It's in the 20-something.
I thought it was like two seasons or something. Right?
Yeah. So like 24 or something.
Really? There's 13? Oh, yeah, I guess so.
So it's a complete story. It follows, as the catalyst mostly, Klaus and...
that chick.
Lavi.
Lavi.
Right, yeah. It's kind of a weird, ambiguous name. Yeah.
I think Klaus is the only name that's not weird.
Well, Klaus is easy to remember because it's like Santa Claus. Santa Claus.
And because Klaus is an actual name that people use.
Yeah, also Santa.
I don't know.
I have a nephew named Santa, so leave him alone. Bastard. So anyway, for some reason that's how I remember him. So Klaus and Lavi, they are on their own. They're kind of the orphaned, brother and sister.
Right.
And they have
a van ship.
A van ship, and it's like a delivery ship. Like they take on different assignments.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They're pretty young. I don't think it's ever said how young they are. But they're pretty young to run a van ship and this for hire service, whatever. Whatever.
Task for hire.
And,
mostly messages. They deliver messages, right? Mostly.
Well, whatever the task is, but yes. I think that, yeah. And they're also gearing up for a race. And Lavi is really good with the van ship. Mm-hmm. And Klaus is pretty much the pilot. The story of those two, they start off strong, brother and sister, and they're really dependent on each other. And then they get into the middle of this war between, the guild is kind of like Congress or something kind of watching over, and then it's the Disith, and I always forget the name
Antonio.
of them. The Natare.
Natare.
So these two factions are warring, and they get sucked into the middle of it. They're basically delivering a message, and then by and large they decide to stay.
Right. Well, it's not so much that they decide. Well, I guess they do decide to stay, but they kind of are forced to stay because they want the well-being of that little girl to be.
Oh, right. There's a commanding general's daughter.
Yeah, what's her name? It's like Amy, Avie, everywhere.
There's so many names. There's a lot of characters in this film,
yeah.
Which is it's hard to remember everything.
And especially since they don't use like conventional names.
Right, and we're not Japanese. But the van ship is really cool in itself. I really like that piece, and it's on the cover art. It's kind of this old school plane that almost looks like a car, like a Cord or something, like an old car, with the wings cut off, like literally. They even have like little stumps, like where they should be, or something. But it flies around. And the one drawback to the whole thing, as far as I'm concerned, is that nothing flies realistically. Yes. It's always like, it just doesn't.
But I think that was not. I think that was.
I mean, if they're like a hovery thing, then I guess I can understand. But I think planes should be like, like that. But they're just kind of like, it's like a fish in water or something. That's a little weird to me.
Yeah. I think it's a little different than fish in water. Fish can't go sideways, but this thing can.
But you really respond to those big green ones, right? I like those. The military ones.
Oh yeah, the big green
side.
I like that. I like that most because
they're more like mechanical and
as opposed to the
military.
The Dimitris, which
the Disith, which is like sleek and
white,
curvy.
And it kind of takes me away. Although I understand that the symbolism there, it's like we are the future as opposed to we are tradition. Even the values. You have to do things. It's chivalrously and honestly or honorably. Whereas the Disith kind of attack from above and they do all sorts of crazy stuff. So it's kind of got that. What am I thinking of? It's not a metaphor, but essentially a metaphor where old versus new, where the old traditions are being attacked and how to fight against the new craziness. So I think that was interesting.
Okay.
Me and my words.
When Lavi and Klaus separate, they kind of decide, like Klaus always wants to go out in his van ship
Right.
and fight, and he's run across several other people, other aviators that are fighting the good fight. So Klaus and Lavi join the Savannah, which is part of the Anatare, and it's led by kind of a badass captain, cool
Right.
customer, and Klaus and Lavi take up the cause, but they kind of diverge. Lavi just loves working on ships, and she's you're kind of annoyed by her, right?
I am. I'm very.
She's really bubbly, and she's a little girl kind of thing, and she is kind of grating after a while. But she's hopeful, and she loves Klaus, and for a long time she's trying to get Klaus to be more responsive to her,
Right.
and, making sure that he has lunch and working on the van ship and all that stuff. Which she kind of took the mother role when their parents disappeared.
Right. She's definitely like the rationalist voice.
But yeah, she is kind of whiny and kind of weak.
Yes. Not weak as in physically weak, just a weak character.
No, I think weak.
Oh, I think she's.
I mean, not physically weak, but like weak mentally, and like she gets some strength. So that's kind of her story, though, her story arc. Because at some point she's like, you know what, Klaus is just going to do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do mine because I love doing this and whatever. Klaus, meantime, he's trying to be like a top-notch pilot, and they kind of diverge. They're still gearing up for this race, which that kind of doesn't make sense because like we're in the middle of this huge war.
Yeah, but sometimes people need distractions, and I think races or anything.
There's another character, and I don't remember his name at all, but he's kind of this crazy, like he's a nobleman. He's just crazy, and he runs a van ship, and he wants to be the best, and so he sees Lavi and Klaus and.
Oh, you're talking about the other racer.
Yeah, and kind of antagonizes, and he shows up in battle too, but he's part of the Disith.
Oh yeah, what is his name?
He might have been part of the guild, but. They have a big conflict there, and it's really weird. This character is really weird. He's off the wall. He's a strange character, and it's really just kind of about it's one of those noblemen that has nothing to worry about,
right.
And so he gets these psychoses, like he doesn't know what to do with himself, and so he just becomes weird. And he's kind of the effeminate character, and he's definitely the antagonist for good half of the last half, and they end up racing at the end. And I was just kind of. I guess I kind of got on this rabbit trail by saying I don't understand why they're having a race in the middle of this war, but they kind of, Klaus and Lavi separate in the war, but everybody's trying to get them back together, saying like, you should do the race, you need to win the race, originally you wanted to be good enough to win the race, and that was your whole purpose in life,
right.
So you guys need to do that, and so they end up doing it, and they got their ace pit crew from the Savannah and the Anatare side, and
that one gay bald guy.
I guess it is. Yeah, I guess it is kind of, like you say, kind of a show of. I don't know, like if I could beat them in sports, like Olympics.
Right.
Wars are decided by
another way of looking at it is in time of war they still had the like jousting in medieval times. They would do that, just to show their nobility.
And
I guess
if the Anatare can win, then they have a small leg up or whatever.
Right.
But there's some weird stuff in there. The guild is, like I say, they're kind of watching all of this and, allowing, disallowing, like why are they just standing by, whatever. There's
I would have liked more to know more about them.
Yeah, there's some political intrigue, but I'm not sure that it's ever really resolved. But I do fondly think of this series. I like this series.
It is. I love a lot about it. I think the only thing that I don't like is, when the girl.
Yeah, opens her mouth.
Yeah, well, when she gets whiny, sometimes she says some smart things, but sometimes she's just really annoying. But other than that, the steampunk aspect of the other visuals, the explosions, the cool
it's fun.
maneuvering.
These big ships, they come alongside, and it's almost like pirate warfare or something because they lower the doors of the space, the aircraft, and guys stand out there with their guns, and their guns are like hooked up to tubes that then run into the, and I don't know what they're firing, exactly, but it's this kind of unexplained
rifles.
Yeah, unexplained, whatever technology, and it's just kind of fun to see. So visually, it can be stunning. And interesting, and there are some battle tactic scenes.
Yeah, and
that are fun. And
I think that's what I like the most, especially about the Antonio side. What is the name of it?
Anatare.
Anatare. Thank you. On the Anatare side, just that whole value of chivalry and
they have a hard time overcoming that, but that's also part of their strength.
Right. The protocol for war and I like seeing that, you know, like it's very knightly, and I enjoyed that.
Okay.
So to mix that in with the steampunkness and everything else, it's just an eclectic funness.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. I think it's a fun watch, and like I say, not too very long.
Yeah.
I love that van ship. That's why I got sucked in. It's
Right.
just some of the cover art, just seeing that van ship, and it's just got those great, you know, the beadwork on the
Right.
metal, and it's just beautiful.
The art is just visually amazing. I do love the art. It's got this kind of, was it like 14th century type deal?
Well, it's kind of steampunk.
Yes, very steampunk. But even like the clothes that they wear, it's like set in.
Yeah,
I don't know how to say that. It is steampunk, but you know.
There's some that look like British soldiers, you know,
Right.
kind of thing with the long hats, you know, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
right.
That's
British soldiers, yeah.
That's one side,
French
and then like
soldiers.
the Disith side, they're all wearing like white and stuff. Well, in the guild, but yeah, there are different aesthetics that kind of.
Yeah, mold.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it started off kind of just this, they were couriers, you know, and
Right.
just kind of, oh, fun, you know, brother and sister trying to make it in the world. And then all of a sudden it becomes, you know, plop down this big war thing. So I kind of wish they had, I would have liked to see that story, honestly. Like doing the courier jobs and like living in that village that's kind of, you know, run down. And
Really?
that human story. I would have liked to see
yeah,
that.
okay.
I would have been very different.
Yeah, I think if we saw a little bit more of it, but I definitely think that them falling into this war, because you know wars are unavoidable, so everyone's going to get sucked in somehow. Just to see them kind of get tackled by this, you know, I thought it was fun. I thought it was very interesting.
Okay. Maybe I was just looking for something different at the beginning, but I did think it was interesting.
Yeah,
I
I
just
thought it
kind of
was
would
great.
like to see that story too. That's all. So anyway, all right. Well, that's Last Exile, another good anime.
Yep.
Yeah, check us on Facebook. Subscribe, please. Let us know what you think.
If you're going to Emerald City Comic Con, let us know. I'd like to get a tally.
And that's it. See you next time.
Bye.
Yeah, and see, it's like the first one the last 3 times. The last 4 times.
I almost shut my own head off. It was like.
That would have been hilarious. Right, blooper. Blood.
Bye. Bye. Right to left.
Coming up on Duel Review, it's Evil Dead.
Running through the jokes. I'm trying to get them in there.
You can ignore
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, look at how red I am. I'm like as red as the orange shirt. Doesn't make any sense because red and orange.
On today's Duel Review, it's The Last Exile. I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Let's get to it.
Is it the Lost Exile?
No. There's this ship. I can't remember the name of the ship. Again, it's one of those names. It starts with an L or something. Anyway, there's this kind of ship that when anybody sees it, they're like, oh crap, it's the whatever, Latvania or whatever it is.
Wait, isn't that the country that Dr. Doom?
I don't know. And then, no, it's Latvia.
Latvia.
And,
In fact, one of my favorite things is like cheese-covered meat of any kind. Chicken, fish, throw some cheese on there. Great.
the Savannah shows up, and the Savannah's kind of like this badass ship with a kind of a rogue captain who's, you know, this like cool customer or whatever. And things happen, and Klaus and Lavi join them.
And I just want to point out that he said cool customer.
What are they? What?
You said cool customer. I think that's a funny saying.
Okay.
I just didn't expect to hear it. It threw me off. Like, cool customer.
Okay. So they join. Damn it, Nick.
Cool customer.
Disith. I remember Disith.
Disith is easy. But what's the other one? It's one net.
Shut up. You're not allowed to drink these drinks before we do this.
Silvana.
I know that. So Klaus and Lavi, they basically join the Savannah, which is this badass ship with a cool customer rogue captain, and they decide to fight the good fight and stick around.
Right, and Silvana's on the Antonio side, right?
Yes.
I can't
What the
remember.
fuck, dude?
I can't remember. I'm just making sure that it's on the Antonio side.
You know, like, I don't know, some reason that reminds me. It's just
And, well, the captain of
Evokes that
the Silvana does kind of look like a girl at times.
yeah, okay, that's a very prevalent point. Now, what the hell? What the hell are you saying? Anyway, son of a bitch.
Damn
What
it,
the fuck is wrong with you?
We usually run through the jokes.
Fucking ridiculous. And that makes sense because he looks like a girl. No.